a legendary venue known to race fans around the world. And the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500 is just 2 days away. But first, it's the Freedom 100, a race that's made its own legend at Indianapolis.
Here comes the move, Dempsey to the outside. Peter Dempsey has won the Firestone Freedom 100.
The closest finish ever at the Speedway. What are we in store for this year? Less than 2 weeks ago, these drivers were also here, but on the road course for a doubleheader weekend. Andretti Autosport's Dean Stoneman got his first Indy Lights win in race number 2. And it was points leader Ed Jones taking the victory in the first race. An exciting and action-packed season so far in the Indy Lights Championship presented by Cooper Tires. Now it's time for the Freedom 100 from the legendary Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Next. The greatest weekend in motorsports continues at the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Carb Day, the masses are here. It is a holiday in Indianapolis, and we're ready for the most important and most entertaining Indy Lights race of the season. It's the Freedom 100, and Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires. Fantastic crowd on hand today, the biggest we've seen in many years on Carb Day. We might be pushing 100,000 people for a practice day for IndyCar, but it's a race day for Indy Lights. I'm Kevin Lee, along with former Indy Lights driver Anders Krohn. What is the stage like here today for these young drivers?
Well, the stage, Kevin, is that we're on the same weekend as the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. We have 100,000 people out there in the stands looking at these guys, wondering who is going to be the next Indy 500 champion coming out of this crop.
What do we expect the racing to be like? It's always been wild.
I think the Freedom 100, every single driver just says, points? Nah, I'm not going to worry about that at the next event. Right now, I'm going to worry about one thing and one thing only. That's crossing this finish line in first place.
Now, the grid doesn't necessarily tell us who is the fastest because qualifying was rained out, but not before we saw a casualty. This is before the rain came.
And Zachary Clayman DeMello just turning into that turn 1 there, and it just gets a little bit loose on him, and then he loses it and stacks it into the wall. Lucky to not sustain massive damage there, but he was obviously out, and but he was okay.
So we're lining up according to points. We don't know who's necessarily the fastest, but we know who's starting on the point. Ed Jones, the points leader, is with Katie Hargan.
Yeah, and even though qualifying was rained out, Ed's on the pole for the 5th time. Ed, as you stand here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, it's just a great place. It's the sanctuary of racing. How do you envision your future here?
Yeah, exactly. It's fantastic to be here and to be starting on the pole. I couldn't have dreamed for a better thing. I hope for many more years I'll be coming here and racing in the Indy 500. And hopefully we can get a win here and start with a good record.
Last year was your first race on an oval here. Now you've had a lot more experience on ovals. How are you different as a driver compared to this time last year?
Well, during last year, you know, every track we went to, it's a completely new experience for myself and the team. And we come back this year with a wealth of experience we learned in the off-season as well and put it to work. You know, Phoenix we qualified strong, ended up strong, and here obviously it rained out, but we were running P1 in qualifying before that. So we have a really good shot at this, and I'm really looking forward to getting underway with it.
And Jan, he's the only driver in the field with more than...
Yes, and of course, we heard about the fact that the championship points are going to be setting the grid today, and Dean Stoneman is actually tied for 4th in the championship, meaning you're starting 5th. But maybe most significantly, you won the last race here, but that was on the road course. You're carrying that momentum. How much of a culture shock coming here now in Speedway trim?
Yeah, it's completely different. We're going opposite direction for a start, and yeah, we're hitting speeds over 200 miles an hour, which is really exciting. But it's completely different. The driving style is different. The car setup's completely different. But yeah, we're looking promising for the race.
What about strategy-wise? Because this is you're a rookie on a super speedway. You've had a chance to run in practice, but you're oftentimes working on a qualifying setup. So how much in traffic, in anger running have you done?
Yeah, we've done quite a lot over the last week. We've had plenty of testing to learn racecraft, to see how the car developed over a long period. But yeah, unfortunately for qualifying yesterday, it got rained off. So today it's on grid positions of where we are in the championship. So starting 5th on the grid, but I'm sure we can have a great race.
All right, have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kevin?
Thanks. Dean Stoneman, one to watch today. Always interesting to see newbies to big ovals. Here's how the championship looks so far. Ed Jones right now with an advantage over Kyle Kaiser and Santi Urrutia. There's Stoneman and Felix Sorales tied for 4th, getting closer to start time. Well, let's go trackside now for opening ceremonies.
We've gathered this afternoon enjoying the hospitality of the Holman George family in the 100 years of tradition of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In the way our conscience leads us, let us pray to God. We ask your protection for these young drivers, the future competitors in the Indy 500. Watch over them and their crews as they perfect their skills. Grant these drivers wisdom, good judgment, and safety as they race to the finish line. But this Memorial Weekend, we hold in grateful remembrance every man and woman who have given their life for our country. Bring comfort to all of our veterans who still bear the scars of war in their bodies and in their spirits. And help all of us to act justly, to love deeply, and to walk humbly with our God. And finally, give all of us safe journeys home as we all respond, amen.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the singer of our national anthem, 16-year-old Indianapolis resident and recording artist, Laura LaValle.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets break the land, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Indianapolis' own Laura LaValle.
What a crowd assembled here today. Maybe the largest ever assembled to watch Indy Lights. John Doonan has joined us here in the booth. He is the director of motorsports for Mazda North America. The Mazda Road to Indy. It's the 3 steps of the ladder leading up to the Verizon IndyCar Series. What's the significance of this weekend for Mazda, John?
Well, coming here since I was 7, just being in this facility is amazing. And to finally see the fruits of the Mazda Road to Indy come to life with 23 of the 33 drivers on the grid for the 100th running. And certainly the Indy Lights grid has grown and some fantastic racing up until this point, and can't wait to see what the Freedom 100 has in store.
How has Mazda helped make the path clear if a young driver and their family want to try to get them to IndyCar?
Well, the intention of the Mazda Road to Indy since we established it is to give drivers a chance to grow their career in a Mazda or a Mazda-powered vehicle. And from the USF 2000 championship to the Pro Mazda championship to now the Indy Lights, it does come down to the driver. Our brand is all about driving. We give these young talents an opportunity to experience driving a Mazda, and I think at the end of this one you're going to see lots of smiles.
Yeah, and I can certainly be a testament to that. I mean, I've been involved with the Mazda Motorsports family since 2009, and just seeing the caring and just wantingness from all of them for all these drivers to become the IndyCar superstars of tomorrow is nothing shy of amazing. So thank you so much, John, for everything that you guys do.
Well, it's been an honor for us to play this role in the industry and in the future stars of the Verizon IndyCar Series. All of our partners at Cooper Tire and Mazda, the entire family, all of our dealers and everybody watching back at corporate is cheering the group on. And we can't play favorites, but we're certainly thrilled to see James Hinchcliffe, Joseph Newgarden, Ryan Hunter-Reay, all these guys that have come up through this program finally realize the opportunities to race in this great race and in this great series.
23 of the 33 starters in this year's 500 competed in Indy Lights. That's remarkable.
Well, at some point in their careers, they've played a step on the Mazda Road to Indy, whether it's the USF 2000 Championship, which features our Mazda MZR power plant, or our infamous rotary in the Pro Mazda Championship. It's fantastic to see all these talented drivers now getting the chance to race on the hallowed grounds of the Speedway.
Probably going to be pretty strong here. He's got some experience as we see the lower two ranks of the Mazda Road to Indy leaving the grid here, with USF 2000 points leader Parker Thompson leading the grid there, and Pro Mazda points leader Pato O'Ward getting to do their first laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in oval configuration.
Parker Thompson, the first step of the Mazda Road to Indy. These drivers can be as young as 15 years old, and they unveiled a brand new car for next year today. Indy Lights got theirs last year. That is a good-looking race car.
It is. It's a beautiful-looking race car, again with the Mazda power plant and Cooper tires, and getting a good view here of Pato O'Ward from Mexico. He resides in Texas, but he is from Mexico, even though he's got an Irish name, so how's that for irony?
And he has been dominating the scene in Pro Mazda's second step in the ladder this year. He's won 5 of 6 races, and the champions in these series receive Mazda scholarship money to move up. So it's looking somewhat likely. The championship is not decided. It's actually closer than you would expect, but it's looking somewhat likely that O'Ward could be in Indy Lights by next season. All right, this is how they will line up for the Freedom 100 at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Qualifying rained out. They start by points. These are all championship contenders. Ed Jones, Santi Urrutia, last year's Pro Mazda champ, in the front row. Anders Row 2, Kyle Kaiser, and Felix Sorales.
Felix Sorales has had a breakthrough season so far this year. He won a race at Milwaukee Mile last year, so we know he's good on the ovals, and we're expecting a lot of him today.
In row number 3, Dean Stoneman, the most recent race winner. We've had 6 and 7 races. Stoneman won on the road course. Felix Rosenquist, a champion in Europe in his first year racing in the States.
He did indeed, and he's been so impressive, so quick. But Sac Beach, he did an average lap of 201.4 miles an hour the other day in practice, and the quickest an Indy Lights car by far. I thought it was an Indy car for a bit there.
Keep an eye on RC Peterson too. Schmidt Peterson Motorsports always strong at this racetrack. Andre Negrao, a GP2 veteran. There's Reba's son, Shelby Blackstock, in his second season driving for Andretti Autosports in Indy Lights. He's a race winner in Pro Mazda.
And he absolutely loves those ovals. There we have Scott Hargrove, who did a couple of Indy Lights races last year. This year is back full-time, and with Zachary Clayman DeMello, we've been so impressed with the maturity of this young guy as he's just found more and more experience.
And row 7 is Juan Piedrahita and Dalton Kellett. Piedrahita with Team Pelfrey, another Andretti Autosport driver for Canadian Dalton Kellett. And the final row is Neil Alberico making the jump up from Pro Mazda. And Eamon Choi is driving the ovals only in the 77 car for Schmidt Peterson. Motorsports Scott Anderson has been there on the road. All right, time to find out the keys to this race with Anders Insider.
Well, the biggest thing we're going to talk about today, Kevin, is the fact that it's a lot warmer this year than last year's Freedom 100. That means that the cars are going to be moving around a bit more, and we're going to see some pretty intense action. Secondly, last year the tire wear was crazy here, so this race could very well come down to who manages their Cooper tires best. And secondly, it's the Freedom 100. No one cares about points. Everyone cares about winning. So we're going to see some crazy action here today for the win.
Newgarden is joining us in the booth for today's Freedom 100, a former winner in 2011, championship that year. What's the significance of this race?
Well, this is huge. I mean, this is, the starting point, hopefully, to a run in Indianapolis. And for me, it's where I came to and was lucky to win it. I mean, this place has been very kind to me, so I'm rooting for all these guys. I love seeing this race. Love being up here. You guys got the best seat in the house.
Dean Stoneman's got a pretty good seat, too. The Mazda on board today. He starts inside of road number 3. To go green this time by. They're perfectly aligned. 16 cars ready to race at the world's greatest race course. Now they're no longer perfectly aligned. start this time. There is some debris, we are told, on the track. So the pace car stays on, and we will circuit the 2.5-mile oval one more time.
And this is just antagonizing for the drivers right now. They all had in mind, we're going to go green this time by. We're going to be doing 200 miles an hour, and we're going to be 2, 3, maybe even 4 wide across the line here. So now they have to wait another lap, which is going to be about a minute and a half here as they work their way around again. And the tension is just brewing at Indianapolis Motor Speedway today.
40 laps or 50 minutes today. Safety truck on track to make sure we are safe and ready to go racing. 2 years ago it was a 3-wide finish. 3 years ago it was 4 wide, and I watched that replay, and if I didn't know who won, I still wouldn't be sure who won.
Yeah, it was a crazy race, and if I don't remember incorrectly, Joseph, you were up in the booth for that one, screaming your ears off.
Well, let's hope we get the same thing, right? You know, that was amazing to be up here. I didn't know who won. I was going nuts. I couldn't believe it, and we had the best view up here. These guys are capable of it, though. You know, these Indy Lights cars, they run so close together, and you're going to see that type of action, I think, today.
It was Peter Dempsey who won that over Gabby Chavez, Sage Garrett, Carlos Williams in 2013. The weather is perfect today, despite the forecast we heard all week. Sunshine, 80 degrees, and fantastic racing in store. And don't forget, we've got more IndyCar action coming up after this is complete. The pit stop competition is coming up at around 1:30, 1:45 or so. We'll have coverage of that. That's always a fun event, and that's when the party really gets started. And then here at the facility, Journey will be entertaining at 3:30 here on NBCSN. We'll get you set for the biggest weekend in motorsports. More here from Indianapolis. Marty Snyder will anchor our coverage here, along with Ray Evernham. And we'll have reports from Charlotte and Monaco, too, for the Coca-Cola 600 and the Monaco Grand Prix.
What a weekend, Kevin. I mean, everything is going on this weekend. And right now, just looking at this Indy Lights field, having raced against, well, Joseph yourself in this race before, I just remember before I took to the green flag here, I felt chills all over my body. I had that tingling feeling inside that was just, I am about to do the most important race of my life. And how does that feel in the big show?
You know, I don't think you can replace it. You know, the Indianapolis, that's what it does to you, right? I do remember that race. It was an amazing experience for both of us. And, you know, it's the same thing in the IndyCar. You get those same chills. It's just times 10 almost. You see that sea of people that arrives here on that Sunday, and it's crazy. You're not used to seeing that amazing crowd. And, you know, the crowd today, we've got over 100,000 people here. You just multiply that by 24, and that's the type of feeling you're going to get.
I mean, when I rolled in this morning, I thought people had mistaken the day and that it was actually Indy 500 race day because it was so packed.
We about could not make it back to the garages. It was so many people. They had their cell phones out. I mean, we couldn't get our cars back, so that's why I was late getting over here.
We're going to go green, I believe, this next time by. They start to line up again. 2 laps. Now, these laps aren't counting under yellow, so we're on lap 2. The clock has begun. We'll have plenty of time to complete this race. 40 laps scheduled, set to go this time by. Ed Jones in the blue car on the inside. Santi Urrutia in the Soul Red Mazda on the outside. Row 2, it's Kyle Kaiser, white and black car, and blue rim fluorescent green. That's Felix Sorrellis on his outside. Dean Stoneman, the inside of row 3, the white and blue car, to his outside. One of the Bilardi red cars of Felix Rosenquist. The other Bilardi car is Zach Veach, 200+ miles an hour in practice. Outside of him, it's R.C. Ederson, lined up around turn 4. Back on the main straightaway. The biggest event of the year is underway at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's go time for Indy Lights, presented by Cooper Tires.
And now let's see Santi Urrutia in that Soul Red Mazda popping out. Can he do anything to Ed Jones going into turn 1? No, he cannot. 3 wide in the back here.
Side by side for third, Kyle Kaiser. Sorrellis on his outside. They stay glued together side by side for third. Sorrellis inches ahead for the position.
What a beautiful move for Sorrellis there. Now he's going to try and suck up on Santi Urrutia. Can he make the outside line stick? We've seen it so many times in Indy Lights where drivers have been able to do that, and yes, he will. Santi Urrutia dropping another spot now with Dean Stoneman in that white and blue car.
The Park Racing running 1-2. It's Ed Jones in front of Felix Sorrellis. Fourth to second in the first couple of corners, and into the wall hard. That's Kyle Kaiser.
What a shame there for Kyle Kaiser as we have the full course caution. I could see he just had a slight moment at the apex of turn 4, and that was enough to send him barreling into the wall. But he's moving around in the car there. He's fine. dream crushed for Kyle Kaiser, Joseph.
And look how well the car held up. You know, the car looks great. Delar does such a great job building these Indy Lights cars and Indy cars, but that's a tough break. He's a fast guy, and it's a shame he went out so early.
And he won the only other oval of the year so far at Phoenix. Kyle Kaiser was 20 years old from Santa Clara, California. He was one of the contenders for this race.
And he didn't even win it. He just dominated. He walked away from the field. So I think even he came into this race weekend thinking, I'm going to be the guy here. He was unlucky. Qualifying was rained out, but he still thought, I'm going to have a good shot at this race. But to be out on the first racing lap is just cruel.
Yeah, it's always a difficult thing. You know, you have this build-up. You have it built in your head what you're going to do. You have the whole race mapped out, and all of a sudden it's gone.
He was just a little bit too close to Santi Urrutia exiting turn 4. Got a little bit of that turbulent air from the back of that 55 car and just washed up into the wall.
And watch R.C. Enerson in that black and red car, the number 7 Lucas Oil car right behind him. He'll dive down to the inside.
But that's still no small hit, Kevin.
No,
that is a hard slap up against that concrete barrier.
It looked like maybe he had a little understeer to oversteer moment. He got high, tried to keep in it, and then the rear starts to step out on him.
Yeah, that's a different place to hit. Back on the main straightaway, just past the safer barrier. It's a hard hit, but still a glancing blow to some degree. So we are under yellow for Indy Lights in the Freedom 100. The pole sitter, Ed Jones, is out front. Unfortunately for young American Kyle Kaiser, the scene he doesn't want to see. He's okay, but the car is on the hook. Early crash on the first green flag lap of the Freedom 100 for Indy Lights, presented by Cooper Tires. I'm Kevin Lee, along with Anders Krohn, Joseph Newgarden, and Katie Hargett. Guys, here's another look at what happened.
And we're going to see Kyle Kaiser just come a little bit loose, and R.C. Enerson did a great job to avoid him there as he smashes into the wall. And you can see Kyle Kaiser still has his hands on the wheel here, thinking he can save it.
Yep, he's trying. Katie?
Kevin, it's been an up and down weekend for Kyle Kaiser. He started very slow. They couldn't find speed, so they changed the engine in the car, and luckily qualifying was rained out, so he was able to start third. Now with this crash in the race, Kyle Kaiser came over the radio and said, guys, I just got loose in traffic and lost it. Kevin, or Anders and Joseph, you can say how much your car changes when you're in traffic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, this place is always an unknown for how it's going to work in dirty air. Some guys struggle with just understeer where the front wants to wash out. Other guys have the rear end that wants to step out. And obviously, Kyle looked like he was a little more on the loose side, but you know, it gets tricky. The whole car goes light when you're behind another one, and sometimes it's unpredictable. You know, for him, it looked like he just got caught out.
And it's also a little bit related to the temperature. Right now, it's a lot warmer than it was last year, so I think that makes the car typically move on top of the surface even more. Whereas when it was colder, when you and I did the Freedom 100 in 2011, it was ice cold.
And you
so
remember how stuck we were, right?
Oh, we were so stuck, and we were side by side, 3 wide the entire race. So I think the complexion of the race today is going to be a little bit different because of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We will go green next time by, so one more under yellow. On board with Dean Stoneman here.
Good look at Dean Stoneman as he's entering turn 3. Outside move, beautiful move around the outside of Santi Urrutia in that 55 car. And then we're going to ride on board with him again. Okay, we lose the shot there, but there is Dean Stoneman. He's going to be a contender. He was so impressive at Phoenix Raceway in his oval debut, and he said, I just got this feeling with the car, this thing where I can rotate it where I want, where I can sit where I want in traffic, and he's staying true to his word. He's doing a great job here.
The final IndyCar practice, Joseph Newgarden competed in that, and he competed here in the Indy Lights car in 2011. What did you learn to transfer to IndyCar racing here in the Lights, Joseph?
Well, I think a lot of what Anders talked about, you know, that amazing racing that teaches you about racecraft. You have to work 2 by 2, learn the way the draft works. That's going to translate to IndyCar. When you watch the Indianapolis 500 this weekend, you're going to see guys slipstreaming, trying to time those passes just how they need to. And I remember Anders was going back and forth all day long trying to time those passes for the very end of the race. And that's going to be the most critical thing. How do you want to be positioned at the end? How do you want to time the pass? Are you going to have enough to get it done?
Carlin Racing is out front, and Jones, Felix Sorales, then Andretti's Dean Stoneman. Santi Urrutia is in 4th position with Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports. That's R.C. Enerson and Zach Veach. Single file restart, and Jones will get them going again, coming out will keep them at speed. Wait for the green flag. Stoneman peeks out. Ederson in the red and black car a little further back, and here is Stoneman working on Sorales for the second position. They'll go side by side into turn number 1.
Stoneman, can you hang it around the outside there? Yes, you can. You made that move stick yet another time. Now up to second place for Dean Stoneman.
So Stoneman has worked his way up from 5th to 2nd. And we've yet to complete a green flag lap.
And can he get the draft here on edge? He's hard with where he pops out. Felix Sorales now pops on RC Ederson. Dean Stoneman up the inside of the green. What a beautiful move this is for Dean Stoneman.
Wow, Stoneman to the lead at Indianapolis. He won on the road course just a couple of weeks ago. Now he's an early threat to win on the 2.5-mile oval. Look at the racing back in the picture.
Zach Beach there trying to go for a pass on Santi Urrutia all the way down to the inside. And are we going to see 3 wide now? Ed Jones back to the lead.
And Ederson to the outside. Side by side for second. Ederson will stay in on the outside. Inches away from the wall.
And Dean Stoneman has so much understeer in his car there. He's putting in so much steering input. He almost lit it inside of RC Ederson.
Your team's supposed to be able to race side by side through the corners here, Joseph.
It's not normally advisable, but these guys are getting it done. It looks like Dean has amazing grip in his car, and he can pile in the wheel, which is great around.
And Jones back to the points. That's Zach Beach on the outside of Urrutia.
You know, and Veach looks really patient to me here. He's not overthinking it. You know, he's not trying to rush it. He's got enough time to get to the front. It looks like he has the car to do it.
Stoneman to the lead again. And here comes Ederson going around the outside for second position.
RC Ederson just kept up the momentum there. I think Ed Jones had to lift a little bit, and RC Ederson kept it penned around the outside. Is he going to have a shot at the lead here? He was so strong in his rookie year last year in Indy Lights, and I think we all know he's going to be a championship contender this year. Could this be the race where he kicks that off?
This is always one of the most entertaining races of the year in any category. So far, so good in 2016.
We still have 30 laps to go here, and these guys are all racing like it's the final lap. I mean, this Indy Lights never failed to see Indianapolis Motor Speedway as, we're almost down to the wall, 3 wide in the back there.
And up front, Ederson trying to go around Stoneman to the outside. Stoneman's not ready to give it up yet, though. Hanging on that white line for the lead at Indianapolis.
And this is side by side at 200 miles an hour. RC Ederson is a teenager from Florida who is racing at over 200 miles an hour right now. I mean, can you believe it?
You know, this is the coolest thing about it. You want to get away with that 2x2. You've got to get the pass done before the corner. These guys, they can stick it on the outside and hold it.
Jones back to second round. So it's Andretti's, Dean Stoneman in front, Carlins and Jones in second. And the young American RC Ederson from Newport Richey, running in third position. That's Felix Sorales getting passed by Zach Veach. And now side by side for the lead and for third position.
And we have the 200-mile-an-hour club member in Zach Veach going for third position here. 201-mile-an-hour average here last week as he's going side by side.
That looked like the start, the parade lap as they touch. Ederson touches with Zach Veach, but they hang on to it.
Zach Veach did have contact with the wall, though. There's got to be damage to those cars. There is no way that Dallara IL-15 would be okay after that. Let's pay attention to Zach Veach here. His right rear tire is what we're going to be looking at. Can we see any scuff marks? Is there going to be a puncture there? And yet he is off the pace.
You know, you wonder about the alignment too. Has it knocked the toe out? If the tire's not going to go down, you know, is there mechanical damage? This could hurt him the entire race.
There are no pit stops in Indy Lights. If you pit, your chance to win is done. And it's 3, maybe 4 wide back here.
Whoa, this is so close. Zach Veach stacking everyone up, so clearly there is some damage on that fire red car of his there. Don McKenna looking to the inside.
That was Juan Piedrahita in the first of the yellow cars we see. That's Piedrahita in the yellow too. Sorales in the blue tour right behind him. And then Andre Negrão, who just turned 18 earlier this year. He was racing go-karts last year. I'm sorry, he's playing DeMello in that situation. But Negrão is a former GP2 winner.
RC Ederson went to the pits. RC Ederson has gone to the pits, so he must have sustained some damage there in that contact with Zach Veach. But the fact that Zach Veach is still running there close to the top 10 with the hard hit that he had with the wall is astonishing to me. I don't understand how it's possible.
And Dean Stoneman leads Veach around the outside. When we watch this, let's hear from Michael Andretti with Katie.
Michael Andretti looking on as Dean Stoneman fights for the lead. Michael, how impressed have you been with Dean?
Really impressed. You know, he's a really good driver. You know, he comes from a lot of good experience. You know, he was on his track to Formula One until he ran into a problem with the cancer, and you know, he's a fighter and he's doing a great job.
Has he taught you things about life as well because of his fight with cancer?
I guess a little bit. You know, he's just a really good kid. He just, you know, a lot of people, you know, counting him out, and here he is fighting his way back and hopefully make a career here.
All right, and trying to get the Andretti name back in victory lane, Jan.
And Kyle Kaiser has been released from the medical center. The good news, you just told me you're okay, but I know you're thinking about what happened there, an opportunity lost. You said on the radio, you just got too close to the car in front.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm massively disappointed right now. I know there's going to be a great race going on out there. I want to be out there. I just got caught on the high side. I just overcorrected to catch it because the car hooked right more than I anticipated, and I just caught into the wall, watching the wall here pretty much now.
All right, well, thankfully you're okay. We'll be back again. Thank you.
I'll be back.
As Katie and Michael Andretti were talking about, Dean Stoneman's story is remarkable. He recovered from serious cancer in 2011. More than 250 tumors in his body. Well, now he leads at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Working on lap 19 of 40, nearing the halfway point of Indy Lights, presented by Cooper Tires, the Freedom 100 from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with Andrews Crone and Joseph Newgard. I'm Kevin Lee. Kenny Hargan is on pit lane. That yellow car you see in fourth position. Behind the leader, Dean Stoneman and Jones. And then Shelby Blackstock has moved up to third position. But Juan Piedrahita, Anders, is the biggest mover from 13th to 4th.
I mean, he's just done an astonishing job so far this race, and I'm just looking at his lines in traffic. I think he should move his car up just a little bit higher on entry to turn 1 and turn 2, just to get a little bit of clean air on his wings. You can see twice is a little shallow, but now he's going to wash up high at the exit of the corner, so he loses a little bit of momentum. But the fact that he's made it up this far and is now challenging for third with Shelby Blackstock in that black and red car up front is pretty amazing.
And Blackstock is another big story. They started by points because qualifying rained out. So from 10th to 3rd for Shelby Blackstock, who has showed significant improvement. He's got teammates this year, and he's finished as high as 4th and 5th of the season.
He has indeed. Maybe it was a lucky charm that his mom called the gentleman start your engines. But no, he's made a big step forward this year. Last year, he was in a one-car team with Andretti Autosport, and he really struggled. But I think it's helped him so much having Dean Stoneman and Dalton Kellett on Andretti Autosport this year. They now have 3 sets of data to evaluate the setup. They have 3 sets of driving to drive that forward, and that's helped him a big amount. You can see a big slide there for Juan Piedrahita.
Well, most of these guys started karting when they were 11 years old. Shelby Blackstock went to college as a golfer and decided, all right, I'd like to give this a try. And when he was around 20 years old as a rookie, he was room for position in that silver red car. And there's how the points stack up. And a big hit for Kyle Kaiser, who came in just 21 back, tied for second. And Dean Stoneman, as they run now, would be second in the championship.
But Ed Jones has worked his way into this position of being Mr. Consistent, always right there in the top 5, always working away at the points. And today, if he finishes second, it's going to be great for the points, but I know he's only got one thing on his mind right now, and that is how do I get by Dean Stoneman.
Jones really surprised us in the opener this year, finishing 10th and 7th at St. Pete after he won both races last year. Second on the oval at Phoenix, then a win, a second, a win, and 4th. And there's Zachary Clayman DeMello, the teenager who raced in go-karts as recently as a year ago. He's had a rough weekend after contact with qualifying.
And that's a crushing day for Youngos Racing. They had Kyle Kaiser go out on the first lap of racing, and now Zachary Clayman DeMello, who's been so strong as a rookie, straight out of karting with just 4 open-wheel races under his belt prior to making his Indy Lights debut. And Shelby Blackstock, you are looking around the outside of a very experienced gentleman there in Ed Jones.
This is a fantastic drive for Blackstock. And obviously for Dean Stoneman on his second oval race, his first super speedway. The top 4 had checked out a little bit, but that's in 5th position. There you see him in kind of the aqua blue colored car coming back, and there's Sorales, who's right up at the front trying to go below Urrutia.
But a very nice job for Urrutia. They're hanging around the outside, and this is some great racing we're seeing here right now. I know with all the history that Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports has here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Speedway. Santi Urrutia badly wants to make it to the front right now, but just struggling a little bit for pace as we see the leaders now fan out.
Joseph, how much are they thinking about? This race goes quickly. How much are they thinking about where can I go? What do I want to do on the final laps? Because we know he's coming to the finish line.
Well, but watching it, I'm wondering how much is tire wear and how much is patience at the moment, trying to figure out where you need to be to time your passes for the end. And I think it's going by quick. Like you said, you're already lap 24. You only got 16 to go. You got to start making some moves and getting in front. You see everyone starting to bunch together, but I really think Ed Jones is starting to think about what he needs to do at the end of this race to try and get past him.
But Joseph, does it not look like Dean Stoneman's car is just a little bit more settled? Ed Jones, to me, looks like he's just scrubbing on top of the surface. Do you think that's because he's right behind Dean Stoneman, or is that because of car setup?
I think tire wear is starting to play in here. At the beginning of this race, you saw how willing they were to pass each other. Now that they're settling out, I think people are just starting to struggle. And probably he's struggling with that aero wash behind him. Stoneman looks very strong with the wheel. I think he looks very comfortable to pile wheel into the car, and that's a very strong trait to have around him.
Back out on track, and Katie has more.
Kevin, we saw Clayman DeMello's crash from qualifying yesterday. He came in, the team said we think you just have massive understeer left over from yesterday. They made a few adjustments and they backed out.
We saw Peter Hita going around Blackstock for third position, so it's Stoneman, Jones, Hita looking for his first Indy Lights win, running in third position in that yellow car.
And boy, did this be a big day for Peter Hita. He's climbed the entire Mazda Road to Indy ladder. He did USF 2000. He's done Pro Mazda. He's been on the podium in both of those, but he's never had that elusive win, and this could be the shot. And Joseph, how about this guy potentially getting his first win on the Mazda Road to Indy ladder at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
The Freedom 100 is one of those things that can set your career. And, he looks strong today. We're going to see what he gets at the end here, but I'm with you. I think he looks the best I've ever seen.
I just third in Milwaukee last year. Best finish this year for Peter. His second position is Kellett, who's working on Urrutia.
But Urrutia made that pass on Kellett just a couple of laps ago. We're going to see now. He's going to protect the inside. Can Dalton Kellett hang it around the outside as they enter turn one?
And a battle for the lead. Ed Jones to the outside of Dean Stoneman. Can he make it stick? Yes!
He squeezed Dean Stoneman so hard there into turn one. I think he just wanted to give him a little bit of that turbulent air to make Dean Stoneman lose momentum, and that has indeed happened now from Peter Hita. Can he make this move stick around the outside of turn three? Neck and neck, let's see. Does he turn in flat on that high side? Yes, he does, but he's going to lose out.
Peter Hita will back out just a little bit. He's running third, right behind Dean Stoneman, who had control this race. The pole sitter, Ed Jones, is back in front, but we are far from done. Working lap 27 of 40, and Stoneman into one, going for the lead again.
I've got those chills again because I feel like we are getting set here for one of the most amazing finishes to the Freedom 100 we've ever seen here. We knew Dean Stoneman was strong in the first half of the race, but I think this is Ed Jones just planning out ready to make the pass here to get for the win.
Well, and the best part is I think we got the answer question. It's not necessarily the tires going off. It looks like people are saying that he's decided to make the go now. He's thinking, I've got to go now. We got about 10 laps to go, a little bit more, but he wants to get out front and see what it's like to go.
This is going to be fun to watch. We've still got a quarter of this race plus to go. Looking to set up for another fantastic finish at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at Indy Lights. A massive crowd here today for the final IndyCar practice and the Indy Lights Freedom 100 at the world's greatest race course with Joseph Newgarden, who will start second in the 500. And Anders Krohn, I'm Kevin Lee. Dean Stoneman is still out in front, but while we were away, Santiago Urrutia running in fifth position. Anders loses it.
He was running by himself there. Got a little bit of dirty air from Shelby Blackstock and then starts losing it. And from here on out, it's such a hard battle to keep the car out of the wall, and he did a really good job of that. Getting another view here, just snaps loose on him, and then he has this long, continuous slide. Lucky not to hit the wall.
And a big eyeful for Dalton Kellett right behind him there. Katie Hargan is on pit road.
Anders, I just heard something over Santi's radio that kind of qualified what you said. He said, I can't get it into gear. So you said you think he lost his clutch. It looks like you're right.
So this is going to set us up for what is going to be a wild restart. But we haven't even needed restarts for wild racing.
We haven't. We've seen 2 wide, we've seen 3 wide, and just seeing here Santi Urrutia's car come to a rest, that is not what we wanted to see for the Mazda scholarship winner. Obviously, the Mazda Road to Indy, they've given away $3.6 million over the course of their involvement with Mazda Road to Indy. And Joseph, you've been a recipient of some of that support to get you to IndyCar.
The give back from Mazda is, I think, second to none in open wheel racing and in racing in North America. You know, there's really no other championships in the world that provide this type of ladder system, and I think you're seeing a lot of interest globally to come to America, check out the Mazda Road to Indy and be a part of this program, because they really do provide a great breeding ground and educate you and help get you to the top.
Ready to come to the green for the restart. Stoneman in the white and blue car, Jones behind him in the blue car, Peter Heaton in the yellow car, Shelby Blackstock is in 4th, and it's Dalton Kellett in 5th. They are lined up, and they are green again at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 8 laps to go, side by side for the lead. Jones to the outside. Peter Heaton trying to come with him.
Can Peter Heaton hold it around the outside there? If he can have position, no, he cannot. He was going to try the inside move into turn 2. Don't do that. Oh, and he backs out of it. That was a good call there from Juan Pedro Heaton to not force the issue.
Dean Stoneman has led since lap 10 officially. Jones has got 5 a couple of times, but didn't lead at the line. Stoneman had it back by the time they got to turn 3.
And I think right now they're going to start playing cat and mouse. Is the one going to try and pass the other one down the back straight and then the repass across the start-finish line? I remember that's the way I used to, or I tried to play out the Freedom 100 when I raced against Joseph here. So let's see, can Dean Stoneman clear Ed Jones across the line? Can he do it? Yes, he is in front. So that is how that's done.
So Stoneman back to the front as the leader. 7 to go at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the biggest prize on the top step of the Mazda Road to Indy.
Let's see here if Juan Pedro Heaton has anything left in his pocket. He was so impressive in driving his way up to the front here, certainly podium contention. But as we all know, the only thing that matters here today is the win.
And Andrew's absolutely right. The timing is what's going to be critical here. Who can pass at the right time? Who can get it done right before the line? When do you want to make that move? I think possibly getting out in front, out of turn 2 could be the position to be in, but you got to be careful because a guy could come back on you out of 4 and beat you right to the line.
He's going to try to squeeze to the inside as Jones goes to the outside. Stoneman maintains the position, but Peter Heaton squeezes through to 2nd.
Juan Pedro Heaton is on fire. What have you done today, Juan Pedro Heaton? Because you are challenging for the biggest win of your life today, and you have driven the wheels off that car.
Juan Pedro Heaton has finished on the podium once in 3rd. He runs 2nd right now. He's not won at Indy Lights. He has a chance to win at the world's most famous racetrack today. But Dean Stoneman has been stout. 4 car lengths in front.
And how about Kevin? Back up to Jones. He's getting in this battle.
5 to go.
Did they touch?
And there was contact. Ellen drove it into the wall on the start-finish straight.
And Pedro Heaton to the outside, side by side. Stoneman won't give it up. Through turn number 2, side by side. Pedro Heaton on the outside. Stoneman on the inside.
And it's so neck and neck now going down that back straight. Juan Pedro Heaton needs to keep his foot in it. The Andretti Autosport car of Dean Stoneman a little bit quicker. And Juan Pedro Heaton is going to give that up there into 3.
Meanwhile, we are yellow for Heyman Choi from Korea, who lives in New York, from Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports. And will we have time for a restart? He is parked on the inside of turn number 2. It would be a shame if this race finishes under yellow, but hopefully this is quick, get him out of the way, no debris, and we've got ourselves a shootout coming.
It's really what you don't want. You know, unfortunately, my race ended under yellow in 2011 when I won here in Indy Lights, and that's not what you want as a driver. You want to win under green flag conditions. That's the most memorable that you can have. So hopefully we're going to get back going here for another restart.
And it doesn't look like there's a ton of damage here to Heyman Choi's. He's obviously the sidewalls and the tires here have had contact with the concrete. We're going to get a view here. Oh, he's already slidden out of control there. So yeah, we have no idea what's happened to Heyman Choi, but likely he would have been in someone's dirty air and then just slid as a result of that.
He was running back, I believe, in 11th position, out of camera shot. He's out of the car. He's okay. So we're looking at 3.5 laps to go to see if we can go green again.
And the Halmatro safety crew are with him, and they're taking care of his car. And as we know, they are not just the best crew in the business, but they are also the quickest. And right now, we are hoping and praying that they will be quicker than ever so we can go back to green action here.
Here's a better look.
And he just loses it by himself. Oh, yeah, just smashes the wall. And boy, is he lucky not to hit the inside wall.
Yeah,
Joseph?
he washed right up to the wall, understeered into it, and he would have had a big hit if he would have come to the inside.
And this is from earlier.
This is Kellett making the move. Just kind of ran out of room, you know. Jones looks like he squeezed him down. Kellett didn't really have anywhere to go and just ran right into the back.
But as we've seen today, clearly these Cooper tires can take just about anything, because Zach Veach had contact with the wall. He continued, and now Ed Jones has a front wing carved into his rear wheel. And how he doesn't have a puncture there, I don't know.
Yeah, and if you're Ed Jones, you're praying that that thing does not start to go down at the end of this race.
That's not just wheel-to-wheel contact, that's Cooper tire to Cooper tire contact. That's it. We are hearing here going to go green. And one more lap, not this time, but we are not going to finish under yellow, at least for this incident with Heyman Choi.
So it's going to be a 2-lap shootout here when we come to the line next time by to take this green flag. And the question is, Joseph, would you rather be leading this right now, or would you want to be in second place to get the draft across the line?
It's hard to tell. I don't think the first lap's going to matter. It's really the positioning for the second. So, you know, I think the safe bet is to try and stay out front. If a yellow does come out again, you want to be the guy that's leading. So for me, I'm always going to try and lead as a driver.
Throw flag means next time by, it's Dean Stoneman, Juan Piedrahita, Ed Jones, Dalton Kellett, Shelby Blackstock, Scott Hargrove, Felix Sorrellis. I read most of the field because I think anyone of 5 or 6 could possibly still win this.
My only question is, have any of you guys brought a tape measure so we can measure the width of the track to see, is it possible to make it a 5-wide finish here today?
And it's going to be a 1-lap shootout. We will see the green flag and the white flag at the same time. But as we've seen in this race, a lot can happen in 1 lap.
It's going to come down to the wire, I think, right here. Who's gonna win this thing? I don't know. I got to tell you, I'm kind of thinking Jones is going to have something here. He's been very strong at being aggressive and getting away with it. I think he's going to be the one to watch in this restart.
And I think his best shot is if Juan Piedrahita and Dean Stoneman start going side by side through one of these corners, he can potentially get a better run through one of the final corners and get that win. But I agree with you, Joseph. I think we're going to see some crazy action here.
Stoneman's going to try to have the restart of his life here to get away.
Stoneman in the white and blue car. Piedrahita has not won in Indy Lights, second in the yellow car. And Jones, the championship leader, in the blue car. Single file. Turn number 4 back on the straightaway, and Piedrahita had to jump out of line. And we're green. White flag, 1 to go in the Freedom 100. Ed Jones to the outside to the lead.
Ed Jones took advantage of Juan Piedrahita running into the back of Dean Stoneman there. The question now remains, does Dean Stoneman have an undamaged car? Can he do something with that? As we see Dalton Kellett too wide through turn 2. But right now, all eyes on Ed Jones and Dean Stoneman. What's going to happen here?
I think Stoneman's going to have he's positioned perfect. He's got no pressure from behind.
Stoneman to the outside. Turn 3, 2 corners to go. Get your cameras ready for another photo finish in Indy Lights. Ed Jones on the inside. Stoneman to the outside. Back on the main straightaway. A drag race to the finish at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And it's side by side at the finish. Dean Stoneman has won the Freedom 100. 0.002 of a second. Dean Stoneman has won over Ed Jones in a remarkable finish at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
What a crazy finish there, and this puts Dean Stoneman in the history books, and he's now stated, I want to be in the Indy 500 next year. I will prove you right. And as we see Michael Andretti there, just elated with the results. Michael, can we please ask you, put this guy in an Indy car for next year?
What an impressive move, too. You could see it coming. You know, he was positioned perfectly to go on the outside. And look at at this finish. Unbelievable how close it is. That's what you get here at Indianapolis.
And we are talking about inches across the line here. Just a little bit less drag on the car. Oh, it's so close. That is, how much is that? 2 inches? 3 inches?
And we didn't think it was possible to be closer than 2013. This is 2/10,000ths of a second faster from .0026 to .0024 on board with Dean Stoneman going to the line.
And he's just ducking his head down here right now, just looking for that little bit of an aero advantage. And we see Ed Jones just disgusted with the fact that he didn't win that race.
That's the Carlin crew.
They thought they had it.
Yeah.
You know, that's how close it was.
And there's Stoneman's crew, Michael Andretti. He's won the Indy 500 3 times as a car owner. Look at this.
You gotta stand up. You gotta stand up to try and get the shot.
I did not know who won. Had to look at timing and scoring. And when you're talking 24/10,000ths of a second. Remarkable.
What an impressive day for Stoneman. He was strong. He led most of this race.
Well, I cannot wait to hear from Dean Stoneman, who has won the 2nd race in a row at Indy Lights, and he'll never forget this one. Stay with us from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
No other words but the closest finish in Indianapolis Motor Speedway history. Your winner of the Freedom 100, Dean Stoneman. What do you have to say? That was incredible.
A win's a win. Whether it's by this much or a mile, it's still a win. Yeah, but that last lap was amazing.
The Freedom 100 known for producing some of the best finishes in IndyCar and Indy Lights racing. Did you know you had it when you crossed the line?
Yeah, I did. I saw that. My wheel was just slightly in front of Ed's. But yeah, I had a fantastic race. It was a shame the 2 safety cars comes out. There was someone caught my left rear wheel on the restart, but I'm not sure what happened there. But all I was focusing on was just getting a good restart and being consistent. And throughout the race, I was hitting every apex, hitting every spot I needed to hit. And the car was fantastic to have. Mazda Road to Indy, Cooper tyres, Alpine Stars, Bob Stelrecht, Andretti behind me. It's been a great weekend.
What did your team owner, Michael Andretti, have to say to you when you pulled into victory lane here?
The closest finish in history. And I knew it was close, but to have a finish like that on a Freedom 100, to be here at such a great facility has been absolutely amazing.
After the last couple of years you've had and the amazing battle you've had defeating cancer, what does this do? Does this put a cap on a just incredible set of very rough years for you?
I think it's just the start of my story. Just another chapter in my book. But yeah, it's going to be onwards and upwards from now. I know it's been a great weekend for wins. 2 weeks ago we had another win. But yeah, we've been working really well with me and my engineer, and we've been developing the car, and it's been amazing.
Closest recorded finish in the history of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Freedom 100 2016 winner Dean Stoneman. Dean, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much.